couple from Woburn, that's how you say it, right?
Woburn,
Massachusetts has lost their license to foster children after they refused to sign a gender-affirming policy from the Department of Children and Families due to their Christian faith. The Marvins, who had fostered 8 children since 2020, appealed the decision but were unsuccessful. They are now part of a federal lawsuit alongside other Christian families, arguing that the policy violates their religious and free speech rights. LGBTQ plus advocates defend the policy as necessary to protect vulnerable children, noting that a significant portion of foster youth identify as LGBTQ plus.
First comment already pissed me off.
Hold on. But I believe it's like they have to agree to affirm whatever.
So they have to be accepting of anything that child is. So basically they can't raise it with through their own beliefs.
Yeah, and this is not adoption, not adoption, foster care. So it's temporary. Do you know the difference?
Yeah. But like, I don't know.
Well, we'll watch the video and see.
Like you can't send your kid to your sister's house, right? And you know your sister's kind of like more strict than you are. You can't expect to send your kids there for the weekend and like expect your sister to be like, oh, they can do whatever they want. When she herself is like, no, bedtime at 9, you're going to bed.
I guess you have to agree to the government's policy. The government has set this, and then, well, let's see.
So the government set like, you have to affirm whatever they believe.
Yeah, I think, well, let's watch the video.
I'll do
this at all. We will absolutely love and support and care for any child in our home, but we simply can't agree to go against our Christian faith.
Lydia and Heath Marvin are ready to bring kids into their home on a moment's notice. The Woburn couple reconfigured their home to care for 8 foster children, including a baby with complex medical needs, for 15 months. That's in addition to their own 3 kids. And they were ready to keep going until Massachusetts Department of Children and Families pulled their license last spring.
Now that it seems like there's no path forward.
We certainly thought we would have young children in our home. For how long, we didn't know, but we were not done having young children in our home.
The heart of the issue, the Marvins refused to sign DCF's LGBTQIA+ non-discrimination policy, which states a foster family must accept a child's assertion of their LGBTQIA+ identity, address children by their names and pronouns, and support gender-neutral practices regarding clothes and physical appearance.
We had asked, is there any sort of accommodation? Can you waive this at all? We will absolutely love and support and care for any child in our home, but we simply can't agree to go against our Christian faith in this area. And we're ultimately told, no, you must sign the form as is, or else you will be delicensed.
The Marvins are still considering their options, but 2 other Massachusetts Christian foster families filed a federal lawsuit against DCF in September, represented by the Massachusetts Family Institute and national group Alliance Defending Freedom.
So there's a speech component and also a religious liberty component to the lawsuit.
Just last week, the Trump administration sent Mass DCF a letter. It mentions the Marvins directly and says, quote, "These policies and developments are deeply troubling, clearly contrary to the purpose of child welfare programs and in direct violation of First Amendment protections." But LGBTQ+ advocates argue the non-discrimination policy is for kids. Massachusetts foster parents also receive a monthly stipend.
Like, the state has an obligation to children to make sure that they're safe and well protected. And like foster parents, they're not parents, right? Foster parents are temporary. They're supposed to be there. There's a stopgap to try to make sure children can go safely back to their families of origin.
Data collection by Mass DCF is poor, according to a report by the Massachusetts Commission on LGBTQ Youth. But the report suggests roughly 30% of Mass foster children could identify as LGBTQ, like the data collected in Los Angeles and New York. The Marvins have not cared for any kids over the age of 4 and say DCF has been flexible about.
Gotta watch.
4 years old, gang?
Gotta watch the whole video.
No, 4 years old. 4 years old, bro. These kids don't know how to wipe their own ass.
I thought that was a line.
How the fuck are they gonna know the difference between they don't know. They don't even know.
But the policy It's not age specific. It's just anything.
No, I get it, but if they've never housed someone that's older than 4 years old, why would DCF make a big deal about that?
Well, because that's a part of what they have to sign.
No, I understand. But they should make it like if you have a kid over a certain age, or if you have a kid that whatever. But then again, them too, they should have just signed this shit because the kid's 4 years old. He's not gonna know what you're teaching him is different than whatever the freak DCF is going to.
It might be 4. It depends on how long the foster. I don't know. Let's see.
Placements in the past. That's why they're hoping for a conversation.
Well, what if you had a kid whose views about their own gender did not align with your religious beliefs? What would you guys do?
We would love and care and support any child. But if there was an issue where we knew that we would have a different position than DCF, we would just be open and talk to them about it.
Okay, before we go to the comments, what are your initial thoughts?
What's LGBTQIA
I think
plus? What's I?
I think A is asexual, I is intersex.
So like bi?
No, intersex is when you're born with both like biological reproductive organs or certain things. Like you'd be born with female reproductive parts,
okay, yeah.
and then like
But that's like actual biological, like that happens. Okay.
And then asexual is just people who don't have attraction, I believe.
Okay. All right.
So,
All right, gotcha.
initial thought. I agree that I don't know.
They're 4 years old. Come on, guys.
I agree, but the policy isn't age specific. So if you have to sign it, even if you don't intend to foster anyone that would have a gender identity, but then people would argue, "Oh, people know it for." I don't.
Nobody knows that for. Stop. This. Oh, let's protect the children. Bullshit. Like no, this is not protect the people that do have like. You find yourself when you're older. You don't find yourself when you're 4 years old. Dude.
That is true.
Like
I remember.
You know how many times I saw kids, 4 years old like males, 4-year-olds or like 8-year-olds, they just put on a dress just because they think they're funny.
Yeah.
Like they don't know what they're doing. They don't have any intention behind it. They're just doing.
They're just doing things. Yeah.
They're just mimicking what they're seeing in their surroundings. That's it.
Yeah, I remember vividly. I believe that was a lion when I was 3, 4.
Like
I would roar.
Yeah. Weird as fuck, but I don't fucking roar.
Lion King's my favorite movie.
No, but like yeah, like you just literally like mock or mimic anything that you found interesting that was happening in your environment.
Yeah. So
even if you didn't find it interesting or whatever, you'd still mimic it because that's just what's going on.
Okay, so let's say this policy, while it might not actually affect them, because if they have kids that are 2, 3, 4 years old, the likelihood that they're expressing any kind of like straightness or whatever it is low. But let's say they wanted to foster an 8-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever it is.
But that's what I said before. Like,
do you think
like there should be an age?
Okay, so if there was like an age component to it, whatever that may be, do you think
let them get to high school?
Whatever it is, do you think the Massachusetts government is right in refusing them their license if they don't want to sign it?
Not refusing the license, but like you don't have to refuse their license because just like lawyers, they don't have to take every case that is given to them or that is presented to them. So as they have the license, right? Yeah. So they're a trusted citizen by Massachusetts to take care of the kids, right? So in my head, it would be more like, okay, well, if this kid, like, if DCF said, all right, we need you to take care of this kid, but this kid may or may not be on that stuff. Okay, well, they should have the right to be like, all right, well, because we don't, our beliefs and stuff are going to be contrary to that, and it's going to violate this policy of yours, then they should have the choice to deny, like, okay, we can't house them if you guys want us to adhere to these policies. Like, I feel like they should have the choice to say no, but still have their license.
Okay, what if they foster?
Because like they said, it was 30% of the kids that whatever the stats was 30% of the kids are actually like dealing with that, right? So you're gonna deny 70%, the other 70% of a potential home because they said no to the 30%.
Two questions. What if the kid develops LGBTQ identity or attraction, just believes their identity is along with uh, that group while they're being fostered? And secondly, if they're like, oh, we're just not going to take any LGBTQ kids, isn't that just
Discrimination, yes, but it's because in order for them to protect themselves, because they also it's a contract. Remember, they're not parents; they're temporary. Well, why should a temporary person have to adapt to a temporary son or daughter?
That same rule happened when, oh, we're not going to adopt any black kids or Asian kids.
But they need to be able to say, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. And if I don't want to do whatever you want me to do because of your policies, right? Them saying, all right, well, we don't want to do that because it doesn't align with our beliefs, right? It's not them saying, fuck you guys. It's saying we respect your policy enough not to just say, yeah, we'll take them and then go behind their back.
Okay, they won't. But them not signing the discrimination policy, what if they get a kid who doesn't identify as LGBTQ, but within the years that they are being fostered, does identify as LGBTQ? That's when
like the change, but like
change, and then that's when the government's thinking, oh, you might discriminate against this kid, and then that's.
But that's what I mean. Like in that like they should sign the policy, but in the policy, it shouldn't be like you have to do it automatically especially if they're doing young kids of 4 years old. Like
okay, the age thing is
the age thing is important, dude, because.
That's fine, but the whole policy,
dealing with a 15-year-old, dealing with a 4-year-old, two different things.
I understand that, but the whole thing is about whatever situation may arise, you agree to this policy because you can't control. A kid may develop or may express themselves as LGBTQ in one way or another, and that's out of your control. So you're signing this to say you're not. I don't know what they qualify as discrimination, but gender affirming. You might have your Christian beliefs, and if one kid identifies as transgender while they're with them, if they don't affirm that, they're in violation of the policy. So where's the...
But affirming how, though? Like you have saying, oh, that's okay. Oh, you want to go get treatment? All right, let's go get treatment. Like that kind of stuff?
I don't know how, like, healthcare and what they provide and everything, but just saying, I want to use these pronouns instead of these, you would have to follow that. The bottom question, should they be able to refuse gender affirming language or care to whoever they foster? If they're 12 years old, 15, 8, they want to be someone that's biologically a male, wants to be called she, her, all of those.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they should lose their license over that, though.
Okay, but
because you're making them lose their license for the 30%, for the 70% that they could be helping.
I mean, okay, but you could
and let there be. So like, let's say they're the only ones they say, oh, we don't want to do it, right? There's plenty of other families that could do that.
Okay, but again, there's still things that are out of their control because they could still foster a kid that develops that or expresses that while they're in there, and nobody knows that. And to test the logic of this, what if the family was like, yeah, we don't want to adopt any Asian kids or foster any Asian kids? Should they lose their license or only...
No, but is there a policy there that says...
I'm sure
you need to be... No, but is there a policy there that says you need to be freaking race affirming? Like if he's Chinese or whatever,
I don't know,
and he wants to eat with fucking...
I'm sure there are, because first that's a part of, there's plenty of the Civil Rights Act and all of that, but there are laws and policies that say you can't discriminate on the basis of race. This is
but you can't change your race is what I'm saying.
Okay, that's a different discussion, but you
can't change your race.
But the principle applies of if they were to say we don't want to get in the way of your policy, so only send us white kids.
No, I understand that. You can't say no to this because all right, cool. But I don't think that they're in the wrong for not signing that.
Oh yeah, you have the right to your beliefs, but I'm just saying the government has the right to refuse as well. I mean, at least it's going to court. This was in October 2025. I don't know how this ended up.
So like, I don't know.
So I'm
For
just
me,
saying, if you have, I think the problem is like I think everyone can have their own beliefs and everything, but if you're going down your way, well, we can't just accept these kids. That's when it actually becomes discriminatory.
yeah, but they didn't say that. They said they would accept them, they would support them, they would do this. But when it got to this, they wouldn't make
I
that
know.
extra step. Would that be discriminating at that point, or
Well,
would it
that's
just be, hey, this is just not what I believe?
that's the legal question. That's a part of the current policy.
Okay, but like that's the other thing.
I guess we
If
can
you
look up.
entrust these people to take care of kids, right? Then you have to reasonably suspect that they're not gonna like.
I mean, that's a big assumption. I mean,
It's a biggest, but it's a risk you have to take when you're in this kind of situation.
well, no, there's plenty of people that will foster that will sign it though.
They're not saying they don't.
I know
want
what they're
them.
not saying.
They're
I'm testing your logic.
But that's what I'm thinking. Like, what they're saying is, we'll accept them, we'll support them, we'll love the kid as if they were one of our own. But if they start saying, "Oh, I'm a boy," they're gonna be like, "No, you're not. You're a girl."
Yeah, I mean, that's,
I don't think that's wrong.
Hey,
I only think that the only reason that's even like a topic of discussion is because of how the world is now.
Well, that's how it always is. Hey, I'm a Christian. I believe there are
Christian, we know, but like,
two
I'm just
sexes
saying,
and everything.
yeah, but like,
But I'm just saying, from a legal perspective,
everybody should be allowed to, like, you can't go. It's just like saying, all right, so when you go into a movie theater, right? You go into that movie theater, we don't sign any paper that says you have to stay quiet during the movie, you have to turn your phone off, you can't like yell the word fire, you can't be doing like you don't sign a paper that says, oh, you can't be like rubbing up on the person you're next to. Like you don't sign a paper that says you can't do A, B, C, or D, right? But you still go in there and you know like, all right, this is not the place I could do that.
yeah.
So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, all right, we'll accept them and stuff. Just know that we're a place where like we're not gonna be like. You don't have to sign a paper.
I understand that, and maybe before that new policy that was actually written out, but it is written out, and therefore, and granted,
I want to know when they wrote that shit out.
Well, I mean, this is a new policy. This came out in October, so I mean, 2025.
And they've been fostering for how many years?
Since 2020, it says.
I have like.
But it's specifically about the LGBTQ, and maybe they haven't
Yeah,
experienced.
no,
that.
but
That's
they're taking a good thing, foster homes, which are good.
Well, not always.
Well, not all of them,
Actually,
but they're taking
a lot. Most abuse. I don't know if it's most, but a high percentage of abuse happens.
But I'm telling you, it's a what you call it? It's an opportunity for kids to just wait somewhere safe. Well, most of the time. I'm not saying all of them are. I'm not saying all of them are, but I'm saying that's the intention of these foster homes, right? Is to have a safe place to go to, and then that way you can wait until you're ready to be placed somewhere else permanently, right? They're taking that away because someone who doesn't even deal with kids that age.
Okay. Well, it's about the refusal to sign. But
Why are they going to sign to that if they
don't believe?
Because like think about it. If I'm only taking in 4-year-olds, their mindset's probably like, why would I ever, like, why would a 4-year-old ever come up to me and say some shit like that?
All these agreements aren't. They're not based on. There are certain parts of the agreement that maintain regardless of age. So I mean, the government would have to make a specific caveat for the specific family, and that's the whole thing. And what was the other thing I was gonna say? Damn it, I forgot. Oh, the whole thing with the foster system. If it's known that the foster system is pretty much broken, and there's a lot of problems with it, and then you get kind of like a red flag from one family. Why take the risk if the foster care system is already so bad?
All right, then don't take the risk, but don't send them there.
Okay, but then they don't at all. If you don't send them there, but if you don't sign this, you can't have a license. It's a contingent. Like there are certain. It's like when you sign a contract. It's like I guess you can negotiate, but this is not a negotiation thing. Again, I'm not. I don't know. There are policy because you're.
I don't like the policy
because
it's too vague.
Well, we haven't actually read it. I don't know if it's too vague, but I think you're coming at it from this perspective that like they have the right to foster children. They're going to the government to foster children. It's like they're at the service of the government. Not, I mean, I guess
No, it's a two-way street.
it is a two-way street, but they don't
If
necessarily.
anything, it's a two-way street because the government. Well, honestly,
They don't
now that
have a
I'm
right
thinking-
to
now that
foster
I'm
children.
now that I'm thinking about it, since they are getting a stipend for the
Yeah.
kids, I mean, sure,
because
you are getting because it's like a job now, but
they don't have a right to foster children. It is a privilege, but it's kind of at the whim of the government whether you have it or you don't. And it's agree to my terms, and now it's going to court to see whether this is actually constitutional or not, whether it's an infringement on their free speech and their religious freedom. And that's kind of the balance of
I
it.
mean, it is because you're kind of telling a family like you can't talk the way you want and you can't act the way you want in your own household because one of our kids is there.
Well, but the key thing is it'd be one thing if this was like their own kid or they adopted. That's one thing, but you're foster. This is temporary. This is a job. You know.
Yeah, but like it's temporary. So like, let's say for whatever time, because like those people that LGBTQ, right? That's their person, that's their identity or whatever. So how are they gonna like? Are you saying they can change the way that they view themselves, and then all of a sudden now
it's
they're not
about changing it.
LGBTQ?
It's about abuse and discrimination. About not treating them fairly.
But they, I don't know.
It's about. I mean, this
Because
couple. This couple looks.
You
nice.
can treat someone. It doesn't matter about the couple. I'm saying like you can treat someone with respect. You can love them. You support them. But like parents do all the time. It's like, yeah, I love you and support. But if you do something that I don't agree with, I'm gonna correct you on it. That doesn't mean that they're abusing you.
No, I agree. But this is just about signing this to eliminate the possibility of abuse or discrimination. I don't know if I haven't read the policy. I don't know if I actually agree with this. But when you sign a contract, especially when you're getting a stipend,
Yes,
this is a contract.
Yeah, but I think like how you said, this is new, so they didn't sign this one. So they weren't working for this. They weren't fostering kids before. I mean, they were fostering kids before this came out. They did sign it, but then because I'm pretty sure you have to read.
Was new.
You have to read, yeah. But since it's a new contract, they didn't want to sign this new contract. So I guess that's cool.
Right now, the Marvins were told they must sign the policy as is or lose their license, resulting in the revocation. I mean, I don't disagree with the government on this, and I don't necessarily disagree with the couple's belief, but they don't have a right. This is a privilege too, and when you sign a contract to perform a service, you have to perform the service.
Yeah, but they didn't sign that contract is what I'm saying.
Therefore, they're going to get de-licensed.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's your fostering time has come up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
And it's unfortunate because, I mean, you could be still serving the government, but...
when you are paying someone to do something, there are certain, and you have certain standards, I guess.
Like...
It's that same type of... I mean... the comments were kind of, I think, let's see.
I mean, yeah, they're hired by them to sign the contract. If not, then don't fucking foster. But I was more concerned about the other parts.
All the comments are pretty much on the side of the government.
Why is it always...
I'm not going to say they're hateful people.
Yeah,
I think that's a bit much.
But like every time something negative happens, I feel like people just resort to it's like, oh, they're on the left side, they're on the right. It's like, dude, no. It's not always like that.
True. I
mean,
mean,
they always go to the extreme. Like I saw one of the comments just now. It was like something about, oh, these people aren't Christians, they're MAGA.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they're Christian. It's like
true. You can make if someone
says certain things, yeah, but they're Christians.
True. But I mean, if you just statistically, if someone is, against LGBTQ or like gender affirming care, it's probably more likely that they're going to be conservative or right leaning compared to left or Democrat, whatever.
Sure, but
to go say they're MAGA
is crazy.
And terrible people, and if I had to guess, I mean, if you're going that national news about gender affirming, maybe you are. I don't know. It's probably more likely, but I don't to make judgments about people's. I mean, I guess if you're not aligned with their worldview, then you are a terrible person. I'm just not gonna go as far and say that they're hateful, discriminatory people. You can hold to your beliefs.
Yeah, like there's like a bad like culture happening where it's like you're either this or you're either that. Like no,
If they came
people,
out,
there are gray areas.
if they came out and said like, oh yeah, these children need to be corrected, they're stupid or they're being
like,
manipulated,
no.
like that type of vitriol and language. Okay, that's one thing, but they were pretty calm. They were like, this is just not a part of our belief system.
Yeah, and they weren't hating. They were literally
Like,
just saying
yeah.
like, wait, we just don't mess with this. That's it.
Yeah,
And it's okay not to mess with every single thing known to
Yeah.
man. Like, bro, we don't have to say
But
yes
then-
to everything.
but then some people will come back and be like, okay, what if they said that about race? We just don't know.
Well,
I think it's false equivalency.
yeah, that's the word of the day, bro. False equivalency.
Yeah,
Because what the hell, bro?
I don't think the race and the sexual,
Bro, not
well, at least when it comes to kids,
bro.
it does not.
If
check out.
everybody agreed on everything, bro, this world would be terrible. Because too much of anything is not good.
Yeah.
You agreeing with someone all the time, it's like, bro, it's like someone's gonna be leading that.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't
final
like
thoughts,
that.
I don't think those people are hateful,
No,
and I don't think. But I do think that.
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think they should go to court for that. Like, it is a contract.
Yeah, I think. But the Massachusetts government has the right to do what it wants to do. So I
That's
mean, this
fair.
is the democratic process working out. That's how it
Yeah.
should be.
That's it for me, dude.
Yeah.
That video.
All
I learned something new.
Yeah. There we go.
I plus A.